All right, that's exciting. We are now live on Facebook and with the amazing Gerri Russel. And I was just telling her I love her pearls. They're so cute. So, Gerri Russel, the queen of the Scottish romance. And Gerri and I, we have known each other for quite a while. And so it was really fun. We hadn't really seen each other or spent much time together, but we were just together recently at a writers' conference and almost got to sit together, except for somebody got out of alphabetical order. Very nice man, but he squeezed it in between us. So we really didn't get shocked much then. But it was really fun to get to see you. And I thought, oh, Gerri, I wonder if she'd be at all open to coming on and chatting with us here today. And I'm so happy that you could. And hopefully we're going to have some bodies showing up pretty soon, but we'll be recording one way or the other. And
Wonderful.
so I'm just looking, I always look to see if I'm getting comments, and then I know, okay, well, some of my Instagram peeps have shown up. Hello there, Reading on the Brink. I'm so happy you joined us. And here comes some of the gang. And as usual, these guys are so well trained. They just know to tell us where they're ringing in from. So I just appreciate that. I am here. Okay, I am glad that you are here. That is great reading. And Maria's come in from Michigan. Nancy's showing up from Wisconsin. We've got Anne Marie from Massachusetts and Nicole from Arizona. And I thought I saw, who did I see? Pam from Gatlinburg. Okay,
Oh, no.
I was thinking, Pam, you were going to be able to come, but maybe I got confused. Nicole is ready for this because she loves Scottish romance.
Oh,
So that's going to be great. So we are going to be talking all things Scottish today because Gerri has written. How many books have you written set in Scotland?
26.
Wow. So you really are the Scottish expert here. And I'm assuming you've made trips to Scotland.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you have Scottish ancestry?
I married my Scottish ancestry.
Oh, that's very cool. Oh, I love that.
That's how I got my name.
Oh.
Russell or Rosel means red, and it's definitely a Norse name. And they came in and conquered Scotland, and there you go. That became Russell.
Those Norsemen were very busy.
Yes, they were.
They got around. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's very cool though. How fun. And let's see, we've got we have some more coming in on Instagram. Hi, you guys. And where is let me see here. I'm trying to do two screens at once. Reading on the Brink says, where is the best place to find Gerri on socials? That's we are going to get to that, but let's tell right now too, in case I forget. Gerri, are you on Instagram by any chance?
I am on Instagram. I'm pretty much everywhere. Just as Gerri Russel.
You're just on as Gerri Russel?
Gerri Russel or Gerri Russel Books.
Gerri, and it's a Jerri, you guys. It's
Gerri.
I'm sorry. What I said, that's a J. Gerri. I knew that in my head. I transposed. Anyway, so Gerri. So don't forget the extra R in there. And Cindy's here. Hi, Cindy has arrived from stormy Ohio. So we'll hope you don't lose power during this. Stepford Hills has arrived. Hi, Debbie. So glad you guys could all join us today. And we have just found out that even though Gerri herself is not Scottish, what's your basic ancestry?
I'm literally Heinz 57, pretty much everything European.
Okay, yeah, that's us. I'm kind of a whole British Scottish mix.
Yes.
And Texas has arrived. Okay, I'm happy to see that Texas is here on Instagram. Thank you very much. Very fun. So anyway, so you've made several trips to Scotland then, right?
Yes. Yes.
Where's your favorite place in Scotland to go, and can you describe it?
Wow.
For those of us who have not been, I've done a little cruise where you just see the edges, but I've never been inland.
So one of the trips that I did, I came in through Glasgow, and then I went all the way around. It took me 3.5 weeks to drive through the entirety of the Highlands, and then left out Edinburgh. So I got to see pretty much everything. And one of the places that I'll never forget, I still to this day, I can't forget it. I live in the Pacific Northwest, so we have mountains and trees and all kinds of things. But Glenclough in Scotland is so beautiful. It's like you're looking one way and all you see are mountains. They're craggy and just they're green and purple with the heather, and you think, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. And then you turn a different direction and you look to the east, and oh my gosh, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. There's a river running through it, and even more just deep deep purple blankets of
Wow.
heather everywhere. And then you turn the next way and you're like, no, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Just to
Wow.
give you a clue, this is where they filmed Harry Potter. It's a lot of where Hagrid's cottage was. So that really lush, beautiful, scenic setting. And I think James Bond was filmed there too when
Oh,
they did
wow.
the Scottish setting there. So it's just so beautiful and so easy to hike through, and it's just a beautiful there was horrible things that happened. There were several massacres that were just brutal and bloody, but there's beauty too, which is just wonderful.
Was that the one? What was that one with Mel Gibson? The guy, the army and the quilts, the kilts, the quilts. I
Well, there was
can't watch it. What was the name? I can't think of the name of the movie. Wasn't that filmed in Scotland? You know,
yeah,
I
yeah,
have
it was filmed in Scotland.
Braveheart. Was
Braveheart,
Braveheart,
yes.
was that a Scottish movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. By the way, hi Sonia. I see you did. Sonia kept saying, "I hope I remember. I hope I remember." And finally, she's like, "I'm going to set my alarm." So I'm glad you set your alarm and joined us. And well, I'm thinking too, the movie Brigadoon, wasn't that a
Yes.
Scottish? Because they're
Yes.
talking about heather on the hill. So
Yes.
I just always remember that.
Well,
So
and
yeah,
the smell, you
the
just can't
smells.
describe it,
I
but the
have heather here.
smell.
I don't smell it at my house. Must not
Oh,
be the right kind of heather.
well, when there's like layer upon layer upon
Oh,
layer of heather,
you
it's,
can smell it, huh?
oh my gosh, yes. And it's just amazing.
How interesting. Very funny. Everybody's ringing in with kind of telling a little bit of their ancestry. We've got
Oh,
French, English, and Irish with Native American. Oh, that's a very cool combination. We have got, yeah, Dutch, English, German, Irish. Yeah. So isn't it interesting what a melting pot we are, those of us who are here in the US, what a melting pot we are of different nationalities. Oh, Pam, yes, we should say Pam is like, how do you ladies know each other? Well, actually, way back when I was a sweet young thing, and Gerri was even sweeter and younger, we were involved in the Romance Writers of America. And isn't that how we met? We were in
yeah.
that
Yeah.
RWA chapter, right?
Yep.
And we all were aspiring authors back there, and just trying to build our careers or launch our careers. And that was how we met, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah. They did the
But
meetings at the University of Washington.
I remember that. That was a trek because I lived on Bainbridge, and we would
I
have to do
know
that.
it was a trek,
Here
but it was
I
worth it.
are to come to hang with the girls in Seattle, but that was fun. And Gerri, also, you guys, as many of you know, I was just Garrett Hart and I last weekend were at the Pacific Northwest Writers Conference, and Gerri is very heavily involved in that. She and my friend Pam Binder, and Pam will be joining us hopefully in December, but they are kind of the heartbeat of keeping that organization going. You've been on that board for, gosh, quite a few years now, right?
Actually, I just got nominated to the board and on the board this year, but
Oh,
I've
really?
been
Because
working
you've worked for it up for a
I do.
while.
I worked in the backgrounds for a very long time.
Wow.
It's just a wonderful organization for absolutely every single kind of writing, every single kind of author, and they are so supportive of authors, no matter what stage of career you're at. It's
Yeah,
just a great organization.
it really is. And for those, you guys, hey, kind of ring if any of you are aspiring writers out there and say, hey, yeah, I'm an aspiring writer, because then we can give you some thoughts about writing conferences and why they're worth going to. Patty has arrived from Minnesota, German, Irish, and Norwegian. Oh, that's a fun one. And we've got Swedish and French and English with Linda Sue Brown. Now see who we've got. We've got quite a few of our Instagram gang here now, which is also very fun. I'm glad you guys could make it. And yes, everybody's making sure I get Wallace Braveheart. I finally, yeah, I don't know why I couldn't bring that up at first. It was like, I know that movie because I remember
Because you
all the
can
notes.
see the guy on the cover, but that's it.
Yeah, it's like I see him running, and I remember the scene where they all, mooned the other guys, and that's all except I remember it had a really sad ending. I thought, I'm never watching this movie again. Oh my goodness, it was like I can't handle this. But anyway, but getting back to Scotland, so you've seen a lot of Scotland. Edinburgh, we did see Edinburgh, and I thought that was really a cool city. I really
So
liked
rich
that.
in history, just
Oh,
amazing. Yeah,
yes.
and if you don't go in August, I can honestly say every single festival that you could imagine, it happens in August, and the population doubles. It's just crazy.
Wow. Because we were there early early spring, I think. I'm trying to remember. And even then, I mean, it was just, I don't think there's ever a time you can go to Edinburgh and all the at least popular tourist
Right,
destinations
right.
won't be full because everybody wants to be there. Oh, Anne Marie, 100% Italian. Yay, you.
Oh, wow.
Nancy's got German, Irish, Scottish, Swedish, Ukraine, Russian, and some more. Yeah, I guess so. You are collecting those. That's those, whatever, DNA blobs. Very cool. Yeah, if you haven't been to Scotland, that's just a it's really is a beautiful, beautiful country. I wish I'd seen more of it. And we've got, let me bring in here on Instagram from Reading on the Brink. So I have the confusing, I am French, I'm German, Alsace. Oh, I've been to Alsace. That's way cool. Lorraine, along with Cuban ancestry. Oh, isn't that interesting? That's a cool mix. I tell you, someday, maybe for Valentine's Day, it would be really fun for people to post, how their parents or grandparents met, how we came to be all these different mixes. I think that would be a fun thing. I'll have to try and remember that for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Anyway, so getting back to Scotland. So you've done all this traveling. You've written all these fabulous books, and they're historical, right?
Yes.
Historical romance.
Very dense in research.
Wow. Wow. That's great. I mean, that's the hard thing about writing historical romance, because you have to be so accurate, and different sources aren't always right too. Don't you have to kind of be really careful and double check your sources?
You really need to use first sources, which means they're people that lived during that time period. That wrote these things. So diaries and books that were written during that time period, and just being able to double check your sources. And it's so hard using the internet nowadays to know, people just decide
accurate,
things are real and put it up
Yeah.
there. So you have to really go back to first sources.
Wow. Oh, interesting.
It
That's a
was
lot of
really,
work.
my first book was really funny because I had heard a story actually at a Cub Scout meeting. My boys were involved in Cub Scouts, and I invited the Seattle Knights to come. And he told a story about the first female warrior in Scotland. And he brought some, chainmail and swords and things. And my daughter ran up, and of course she was like in the chainmail before he could even say, would he like to try it on? And so he told us about a warrior named Scotia. And I thought about this for years until I finally said, you know what, I need to write a book about Scotia. But I had to find a first source for her. And since it was so long ago, when Scotland was not really Scotland, they named Scotland because of Scotia. I found during the coronation, what they do is they read the lineage of a king all the way back to the first known ancestor. And during one of the kings, when he was coronated, they read it all the way back, his lineage back to a woman named Scotia. And I figured, you know what? If they can say that the king was related to her, she must have existed.
Wow. Yeah, I would say so. Well, that's very interesting. Golly. Well, I tell you what, history is such an interesting thing, isn't it? Because there are so many different stories. What I really love, the coolest thing about historical romances, I think, is that you aren't just getting names, dates, battles, whatever. You're seeing how the course of history affected everyday lives.
Yeah.
And that's just I think that can really make history interesting when you do that. But let's talk a little bit about Scottish food. Ooh. Have you had haggis? And maybe you can tell people who don't know what it is, you can tell people what haggis is.
Oh, I've had haggis, a little bite. Was not my thing. I'm not much of a meat eater, but haggis is really all the parts of an animal that you don't normally eat, all ground up. So usually like lungs, heart, liver, those kind of things, ground up. And then they put like onions and spices and oats and different things in there. And then they used to wrap it in stomach or intestines to make little blobs of stuff they could boil. Well, nowadays they don't do that. Nowadays they use an artificial casing, but they still use all the parts.
Wow, that's interesting.
My favorite haggis was the vegetarian haggis. It's mostly made of oats, and it's actually quite tasty.
Now that wouldn't be bad, because Pam just posted haggis is nasty. I've heard of it and never quite been brave enough that I would want to try it.
Well, yeah, and blood pudding, kind of the same thing. It's just, But you know what? The Scottish people are very inventive. They used every single part of an animal. They did not waste anything. So
I think that's what a lot of our ancestors did, especially with farming and things. You just, you had to use what you had to use.
Yep.
And so, I mean, the idea behind it, waste not, want not, I just don't know if I could quite go there. We have a question. What is your for you? What is your favorite part of Scotland? She says, I love almost anywhere along the River Spey. Did I say that correctly? Especially around Macallan.
Okay. Like I
But
said, Glencoe is a favorite for me, but there were so many parts. I prefer the Highlands just because that's where I've set most of my stories.
okay.
It's kind of uncivilized, kind of untamed. There's just the country is wild. You can get away with a lot as an author because there weren't as many rules, or every clan had its own kind of structure. So you can kind of get away with a little bit more creativity wise.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well, and I think when a lot of us think of Highland, we think of of Scotland. We think of the Highlands.
Yeah.
That's what we always, the Highland fling and the Highland this and the
Well,
Highland that. Now, again, our little reading on the brink says under the haggis, it depends on who makes the haggis
oh,
and how it is cooked. I hate boiled, but don't mind roasted or grilled. Now,
ooh,
that probably is a whole different flavor, I'm guessing, if you've got roasted haggis.
yeah. Well,
I don't know. Very
savory,
interesting.
definitely.
Yes, and actually, Debbie Tyler says I love shortbread, so I would just live, and I am with you. And by the way, you guys, unless I'm stealing your thunder, I have a shortbread recipe to share. If are you interested, anybody?
Absolutely.
This is cute. We had a cute little old Scottish lady when I was a little girl growing up that my parents knew, and they always would give her a ride to church. And my mom got her shortbread recipe, and it makes it sound like it's this super duper hard thing, and it's not. It's like, oh my gosh, there's three things in shortbread. There's
Yep.
flour, butter, and sugar, and that's
Yep.
just it. So Mrs. Tate's shortbread is what this and see it's the all written out
I
recipe.
love it.
But for Mrs. Tate's shortbread, you want 4 cups of flour, 3/4 cup sugar, and a half a pound of butter, as in 2 cubes. But I have noticed when I make shortbread, I either increase the butter or decrease the flour a little bit because it's never sticks together enough. And even the recipe, when it's saying to mix it together, that you might have to add a little more butter. So I just add a little more butter to begin with. And all you do, and I actually do it in 4 little circles. You make 4 balls, smash them in 4 little circles on discs on your cookie sheet, and nice and flat. And then you score it, like you can be able to cut it, and you have to poke it with a fork and make fork holes everywhere. And you probably know all that, huh, Gerri? Because I bet you've made a lot of shortbread.
Yep.
And then you just bake it, and I'm going to bake it at 350. This says 300, but I always do 350, and it doesn't take more than, I don't know, about 10, 12 minutes to bake it. Do you think I got that all right? Does that sound about good to you?
Oh yeah. Well, and you can put a little sugar sprinkles over the top if you want.
Ooh, that makes it even better. My son always says everything's better with butter, but everything's also better with the sugar. Yes, and Walker's. You can't go to Scotland and not buy Walker's shortbread. And of course, you can find that in places here in the U.S. now too, which is really fun, or on Amazon. But shortbread is such an easy cookie to make, and it's really fun. You can really dress it up for Christmas with melted white chocolate and peppermint sprinkles and all kinds of fun things to do. So that's another favorite. Is there those are the 2 things I think of when I think of Scottish food. Is there anything else I'm missing as far as Scottish food?
Oh, there's all kinds, and they all have fun names, like
Give me a couple.
Collins gink. That is
What's that?
Fish soup.
Oh my
They
God.
have they have they have a lot of fish because of, they're an island, but
Okay.
it's also one of the things that was really interesting to me is that how in the Highlands, particularly, there's a lot of lochs. So it's just kind of the way that the land came together, and one loch might be seawater, and the next loch will be freshwater, and then
Okay, that's interesting.
it's very interesting. So they might grow like scallops in some, and they might do trout in another one.
Scallops.
Yes.
Wow. I think of that
Yeah.
as like the beach, you
No,
know.
so they don't have a lot of arable soil. So they can't farm very well. So a lot of things in Scotland are hydroponic nowadays. So
Oh, okay.
but they do a lot of farming of seafood in the lochs. So it's very interesting how they do that. But so Colin skink is fish soup, which is kind of fun.
Hmm.
But cockaliki soup is chicken, like chicken soup, but it's chicken and leeks. Um,
Cockaliki. Oh, that's so cute. Like cock-a-doodle-doodle, a cock-a-leaky leak.
yeah.
Oh, fun.
Well, and then there's neeps and tatties. Um, Potatoes didn't really exist in Great Britain for a long time. They're an American product, and so they had turnips, they had rutabagas, things like that. So when potatoes came in, then they started mixing potatoes and other vegetables together. So that's
Mhm.
what neeps and tatties, and then you'd throw some haggis in with that too. So haggis,
Well, of
neeps, and
course, we
tatties.
must put haggis and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought, I mean, Ireland, the potato famine, so I just figure, well, if Ireland had potatoes, Scotland should have potatoes, but not necessarily,
No,
huh?
no.
Oh, now
They
that's interesting.
look at the history of potatoes. They were brought into Ireland.
They were. I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
just thought they came to here from, well, I don't know what I thought, but I mean, Ireland, you think of Ireland, you think of potatoes and the great potato famine. They were
Nowadays.
brought into Ireland.
Yep.
Do you know who brought them in? Who brought them? Do we know?
I don't
Somebody
remember.
know?
Yeah.
Wow. Now that's interesting. See,
Yeah.
guys, you learn something new every day here. You just never know what you're going to learn about potatoes and turnip. Yeah, Marie, I'm with you. I love turnips, turnips and carrots. This is the time of year when we're getting to roasted vegetables.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I just love the carrot and onion and turnips and parsnips. And my husband, he's like, vegetables are bad enough. You make them worse when you roast them.
Oh,
So I just, and broccoli, so I just roast some for me and then find something else for him because there's no sense wasting on them on those that don't like them, right? So, but oh my gosh, yeah, love turnips and
yeah.
parsnips. Parsnips are one of my favorites. But well, let's switch from food now to books and talk just a little bit about your books. What now you've got a whole new series right now, and you've got a book coming out. You want to do show and tell of your latest book in this
Sure.
series? And tell us what the series is and where and when it's set.
Well, my latest book. The latest book. See, you got this series has 7 books in it. So the latest book is Taming the Highland Beauty.
Oh, I love that.
And the series follows the Clan MacLeod, and they live in a castle called Dunvegan over on the Isle of Skye. And one of the things that the clan is best known for is their fairy flag. And there's a little legend that the MacLeods like to think is the truth, where the flag came from, is that it came from the fairy world. So the laird of the Dunvegans met a fairy over around. If you've ever been to the Isle of Skye, it's always very mystical. There's the fairy pools.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
all kinds of ways that it just legends tend to be true sometimes. And he met a fairy princess, fell in love. They got married, but she was only allowed to stay for a year and a day. And she had to go home, but they had a child during the time that they were married. And she had to go back, but she made her husband promise her that she would never let the child cry. So
Oh,
she goes back to fairyland. The husband is very sad. And so the whole clan decided to throw a party for him. And so he went to the party, and guess what happened? The child cried. The mother heard the cries all the way into fairyland, and so she came to console him and wrapped him in a little blanket of silk and sang
oh.
him what's called the fairy song of Dunvegan. And so then years later, when the child grew up, he told the clan what that silk meant, and it was a gift from fairy world that when they put it on, made it their standard, put it on and waved it, they could use it 3 times, and it would help the clan have special powers so that they would overcome their foes or overcome whatever was happening. And it's been used twice.
Well,
They
we're down
almost,
to our last time.
yeah, so they almost used it. The clan almost used it during World War II. They were about ready to wave the flag when armistice happened. So, but every single person in the clan went with a little picture of the fairy flag tucked into their uniform while they were at battle. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so I
I
kind of
love
based
that.
my whole series around the fairy flag, getting it, all the brothers and sisters in the clan, and that they might have to use it that last time.
Oh, I love
So, yeah,
that is so cool. What a
it
great
was fun.
idea. Love that for a story. Very,
Yep.
very cool. Oh my gosh.
And
And by the way, I'm
those
sorry,
old
go ahead.
castles have like so many like hidden places and secret rooms and all these corridors and things. So it's so fun to use those in stories.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, very, very, very fun. Oh my gosh. And Pam is actually giving away a book today. You want to give us a show and tell what book and tell us what that is that you're going to be giving away. See, it always pays to show up because you must be present to win.
Yeah, this is Seven Nights with a Scot. It is from a different series. It's the first book in my All the King's Men series, and it's about when James the First um, became king and decided that maybe he wanted to have a little more control over the country. And it's also the time when medicine started coming in, and they decided to burn witches. And so the first people to go were the Catholics. The second people to go were the people that, were the healers and the wise women. And then anybody else didn't like, it was very easy to get rid of wives and neighbors and people, mostly women, who were seen as different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's a 5-book series, and it's educational. It's not depressing at all. There's always a happy ending in a romance.
That's right.
which is
We
good.
guarantee
So,
an HEA. You
yes.
know, yes.
No heroines die in this series.
That's a good thing to know. I think a lot of readers don't even like it when you kill off a character who isn't the main character. I have hardly ever done in a character in my book, but I have a couple times, and that didn't make some people happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but sometimes that just has happened. But yeah, Pam, I agree with you, Pam. She says that historical fiction is such a great way to learn history rather than a dry history book, and that is the difference. Yeah, often we take liberty in some things with fiction, but the basic bones are correct. And by these larger things happening in history, you see how that trickles down and affects the average person. Oh my gosh, David Mullen says hi from Scotland. Well,
Oh, hi,
how fun is that? Hello. You've got a kindred soul here I'm interviewing to her husband. Maybe you're related. I don't know. Probably not. But anyway, we're happy to have a true Scotsman joining us. That's
yes.
very cool. And what else was going to ask? Oh, yeah. So how many? I'm trying to remember if I don't think did I ask this? My gosh, I swear my memory chip is faulty these days. How many books have you written all together now in your career?
26.
26. So you're booking right along, no pun intended. Wow. What's on the horizon for you now? You've got this book just came out, right? The one that
Yeah.
you're talking about. Okay, but so now I'm sure you're already at work on something for down the road. Is that a
Yes.
good guess?
I'm doing a 3-book series this time on the
Oh my goodness.
Monroe brothers. So I'm moving over to the northeast a little bit in Scotland, over towards Dundee, and going to write about the Monroe history and the Monroe brothers. And I just felt like a smaller series now. After coming off a 7-book series, I mean, you live with that series for a long time.
Yeah.
So, because it takes years to develop the kind of the concept and set the world, and then to write the books. So I needed to,
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
yeah, and I have to let go of the McLeods. I mean, that there's a grieving process.
Well, it is hard. I mean, I bet you guys all feel the same way. Even like when a book series ends or a TV series, you've gotten so involved with these characters and you just aren't ready to let go of them, And I mean, the good thing is with doing a long series, you've done a lot of the research, so that part is easier.
Yeah.
But sometimes I guess you think, okay, I've really milked all I can out of this, and it's time to move on to something new, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Cindy wants to know how long you've been writing, Gerri, because
oh,
26 books. When did you start that?
I started writing in 1993. So it's been 30 plus years. And back when I started, it was a very different world. We didn't even have the internet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Good
and
point.
you wrote a book, you sent it in, you had to send the complete book in, you had to wait until they sent it back before you could send it to a new publisher. So it took a long time it took me 12 years to sell just because of that process. And I sold my 5th book. And then I still have those other 4 that are just like, maybe someday I'll go back to them, but maybe not. I don't know.
Sometimes those are your learning books.
Exactly.
You know, they're
Yeah.
maybe not your most spectacular,
No.
what you cut your teeth on and learned out.
Yep.
Nicole says that she just read a book that bumped off a main character, but there's a book 4, so maybe she's alive. So you
Oh,
know what? We can hope. Oh my gosh. And let's see, David Mullen says Glasgow, to be more specific, not very romantic, a bit more gritty. I'm not sure even what he means by that. You might understand what he means by that because I've only I I'm clueless. Do you know what he means by that?
it's a little more industrialized.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
and but it has a a feel to it. Every single city has a different feel to it, and where Edinburgh embraces the heredity, the castle
Oh
and
my gosh.
Prince's Street and all that. Glasgow's very artsy, and
Oh,
industrial.
interesting. Interesting. Wow. We lost you for a second there. That's a good thing. Cindy wants to know if all your books are based in Scotland.
Yep, every single
Okay,
one of
so
them.
there you go. That's the Scotland is her happy place. By
Yep.
the way, somebody came a little late, and I who that was. It's good to keep track of. That was, yeah, Melanie. Melanie, we're glad you made it. You know, it's better late than never, right? And of course, when you're present, that means we pick a name out of the hat here,
Yeah.
but you have to be present to win. So somebody latest book in her series because I want you guys to buy that, right? So, but she's going to be generous and give away a book to some lucky winner. And so that's really cool. Okay, Gerri, tell us just a little bit. Is there another trip to Scotland in the future for you?
Oh gosh, I wish I could go tomorrow. But probably not right now. My mom's having some medical issues, so I need to
Uh,
stick around and
yeah, yeah,
make
stay
sure
home.
that's okay. So I'm gonna get back there, and I know where I'm gonna go.
All right, well, there you go. Yeah, lady, I see everybody telling us we're going in and out and freezing. I don't know what that is. My internet connection is strong, so I don't know
Yeah.
if that is strong. So I apologize if maybe you're in an area where it's being a little misbehaving. Apologize that yeah, Gerri especially is kind of flipping in and out here. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on. Anyway, hopefully you've been able to catch enough of this to get the
Yeah.
idea of what Gerri writes, and maybe that's something you're going to want to read. And well, Cindy was able to catch enough to say prayers for your mom, Gerri. So
Thank you
thanks,
so
Cindy.
much.
That's really sweet.
Can I
So
let people know, Sheila, that the Return of the Air right now is free on Amazon.com. So you can download it for free.
now I froze. Ugh, wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, we're back again. Boy, I don't know what is going on here. We are just freezing right and left. I so apologize. Say again, Gerri, because just as you're about to say it, you want to lay.
So Return of the Air is free download right now on Amazon.com. So
Okay,
you
and
can
is
down
that the
that one
first
for
book in the
free.
series? Is that the
Yes, it
first book?
is.
Okay, so
Yes.
if you guys want to try the first book in the series, you can get that for free on Amazon. And Gerri, you said you're on Instagram as
Yes.
Gerri Russel,
Gerri Russell Books on Instagram.
Gerri Russell Books at two R's, Gerri
I always
Russell.
like to tell people it's 2 R's and Jerry, 2 S's and 2 L's and Russell.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's a lot. Anyway, so that's where you can find it. And you're on Facebook also, I
Yes.
assume.
Yeah,
So,
Jerry
and the
as
same
Gerri
thing,
Russell. Yeah.
Gerri Russell. Okay. And guys, and one quick shout out to those who are writers or aspiring writers here who have joined us. Do check out any writers conferences
Yes.
in your area because they are always worth going to. You get great teaching from people who are a little further down the road. You meet pros. You can usually meet agents and editors. And the Pacific Northwest Writers one has been going for how many years has that been going? 40?
70.
70. So a
Yeah.
really long, that is a long and prestigious conference. And so if you're looking for one, it happens every September.
Yep.
And Gerri will be one of the ones leading the charge for next year, in charge of everything. And it's going to be great. And so I want to thank you for taking time to join us today, Gerri. This has been good. And again, you guys, I really apologize that our internet has been so doggone uncooperative today. I'm not sure what that was about, but hopefully you were able to hang in enough to learn about fabulous historical Scottish books. So thanks for joining us. I will be posting a winner from one of these two social media platforms, and I will probably do that sometime tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. So be sure and check, and I'll let you know who our big winner was. And thanks all for joining us tonight. I hope you have a great rest of the day and a fabulous week, and we will be doing this again. So keep staying tuned, and we'll let you know when it's happening again. So have a great week, everybody.